Hey, friends. Bill Adams here, the overseer of SFOI, talking to you today about joining the SFOI evangelism team, joining the team here that's working to preach the gospel, in essence, in all the world. And so, what does that mean to join the team? Well, to join the team is to what you're really doing is making a greater commitment to evangelism yourself and then joining us in what we're doing. So, what are we primarily doing here at SFOI? We're primarily preaching and teaching the word in the open air gospel preachers at large events. So now we've gone from just sporting events to concerts and festivals, things like that. We're looking for large crowds, multi day events in the United States, now Canada, UK, around the world. Really, we're trying to branch out into international work as well, looking for these large events, and then getting into cities as well, like a London, like a Nashville, like a Vegas, where there's a lot of foot traffic all the time and a lot of these big international cities, Mexico City, other places, Chile, Santiago, Chile. You have these big cities, and there's a lot of foot traffic as well. So, but they're not unlimited. So there's only probably less than 100 big cities in the world where there's you could preach in the city. There's probably not that many. Uh, there's probably how many big cities are there with a lot of foot traffic? Probably less than 20. There's probably 100 big cities in the world where you can move and live and work out of that city as well. But we're looking for large crowds and we're looking to preach in cities where there's a lot of foot traffic. That's the goal. To make a commitment to be on the SFOI team is say, okay, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to preach in these venues. I'd like to be part of what you're doing. And then you join up. And there's two levels of commitment. One is when, let's just be practical here. One is when you keep your job, and this is called an SFOI evangelist. And here's what you really commit to. One, you commit to preaching at 4 SFOI events a year. You commit to the SFOI 1000 program if there is a stadium in your area. You commit to being part of the George Whitfield Preaching Academy, and you plan to attend the annual George Whitfield training in June here near Chattanooga. And the last thing is you join the weekly prayer call at 7 o'clock. And that may or may not sound like a lot, but it's kind of spread out. It's not overwhelming. It's something you can do while working and having a family as well, and building some time to take a extended mission trip as well. So that's one level. The second level is to be a George Whitfield evangelist. And really, what's the difference? Well, to be a Whitfield evangelist is here's how I describe it. You're an itinerant evangelist in a geographical area. You're preaching 5 days a week, at least 4 hours a day, maybe six. You're going to obviously take a day off. So preach 5 or 6 days a week, 4 hours a day, and you itinerate in a specific geographical area. You also commit to going to the Super Bowl and going to the George Whitfield training in June, the summer, and being part of the George Whitfield Preaching Academy. And Lord willing, getting on the prayer calls on Monday nights. The Whitfield evangelists, they actually have a Monday afternoon time when they get together to pray as well. That's the other commitment. In that case, you've left your job and you have begun this process we call ministry partner development to fund what you're doing. So those are the two ways to do it. You can go from one to the other, SFOI evangelist to a George Whitfield evangelist, and just sort of incrementally move in. We can talk about that if you want to. And I certainly recommend taking incremental approach from going from really doing very little to going all the way to being full time. But those are the two parts of our team that you can be a part of. Highly encourage you to pray about it. Come join us in this work. I think we live in a day where the Lord's moving, raising up a lot of evangelists. This is my 25th year full time evangelism. I've seen quite a bit of change over those 25 years. I think we look around us in the politics of our day. Many people talking about Jesus. I think there's a revival of religion going on. In other words, if there's going to be a time to get engaged in this kind of work, sort of part time or full time, now's a good time to do it. I think also you will find laboring while you're in fellowship with other people to help the cause. Being by yourself and going it alone, on one hand that might be easier for some. On the other hand, the fellowship, which we see at the Super Bowl, which was last weekend, really is a motivating part of this work. So being part of a group of guys who's out preaching all the time, praying with them, encouraging them, and so forth, I think is really vital to this evangelist work. So let me know what you'd like to do. There'll be a link at the bottom of this video with the two programs listed there. And love to get your feedback. You can call me 1-866-646-5683. We can talk about it there. Also, the George Whitfield training is coming up June 16 to 20. We'd love to talk to you about maybe that's the first step to begin on either track. And that's really important that you take a step of faith. You start moving in this direction. Maybe that's the first thing you want to do when you get in a space for about a week and can really think it through. What is your level of commitment? But either way, hope you will make a greater commitment to evangelism work. So that's the message today. Call me 1-866-646-5683. Look at the link below the video and see what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Keep preaching.